Good evening. Strong Hammer, good evening, good sir. I like that name, Strong Hammer. Very positive sounding name. What are you up to this evening? Let's wave at you. Bosh. Wave on wave. Setsuo or Ketsuo. Evening, guys. How are you all? Did you like the latest couple of guides I put up recently? C-E-H-T. Is that right? Or should that be C-H-E-T? Chet. K. Evening, good sir. You're right, man. Or L, should I say. How are you all this evening? Yeah, did you like the old blade I did recently? Yeah, so that's the you can't really see. Let's do zoom in. Look at that, I can see me skin textures and everything. Right, there you go. So there's the blade. Yeah, dark and light, dark on the body, light on the thing. Yeah, you don't need to look at my ugly mug up close. It's not ugly really, it's fantastic. So yeah, just figured I'd come online and answer any questions if you've got any. And also, just I want to pose you guys some questions, because for those that are familiar with how I like to work, I'm absolutely firm. It's not even a belief, actually. I'm going to say firm in the belief, but it's not a belief. I know the thing that holds people back with painting is the way they think about painting. So generally, what I like to do is I like to get them to think about painting in a hopefully a more direct way. And what that means is making people think, and it makes them uncomfortable. So I ask challenging questions. So yeah, I just want. Well, I think the questions I've got tonight are more loaded with what I hope would be jewels of inspiration. So we'll see how we get on. Wow, there's 10 of you already. Where did 10 of you come from? Let's see who those 10 folk are. Wow. Do you know what? I'm so happy that you all turn up, by the way. Cheers, Strong Emma. I'm glad you like what we do, by the way. Okay. So, first off, has anyone got any questions? Right, Zab. Has anybody got any questions about the 4 guides that I've done so far? So the Space Marine armour colour. Yeah, I did a Space Marine leg, but anything blue you can do that colour. Yeah. All right. So we did the Space Marine leg. We did metal for the stabby blade. We did the gold on the shoulder pad. We did the Death Guard armour colour in green. We haven't done anything with Poxwalker yet. Yeah. So, cheers, Zab. I'm glad you like the limited palette work. I hope it inspires you to see things more for what they are, not for what you think they are or assume they are. That's holds a lot of people back. We have this weird idea that things have to be done the way we think they have to be done. For example, a lot of the comments about priming and mould lining, which have been doing my head in, if I'm honest. But at the same time, I have to treat those comments with a little bit of love and compassion, because A, they might not know my intentions. Yeah, this is what I keep myself calm with. A, they might not know my intentions. B, they might not know better because they've just been taught that like robotically, you must always prime models or you must always mold line everything. Do you know what I mean? They might just not have that mental flexibility. So, you know, I have to be as patient as possible with things like that. Who? Somewhere I think you mean hi, don't you? But yes, you do. But I like who as well. So yeah. When it comes to the way we think about the hobby, you just got to ask yourself: am I being restrictive of myself? And within that, am I being restrictive of others? You know, so for example, when I painted the Space Marine armour, what was my highlight? My highlight was Death Guard Green. Some people were like, you know, whether they were impressed or whether they were shocked or whether they were like in denial. Oh, you can't do that. Well, yeah, I can, and I did. So, you know, how did my mind think about it initially? My mind thinks about it very simply. All right. There's 3 colours: black, blue, green. Blue is my mid-tone, so that's the colour I want to do it, essentially. Not because it's the mid-tone, but that's the colour I want the armour in general. Well, which one's going to be the shade? Well, it's going to be the darker one. And which one's going to be the highlight? It's going to be the lighter one. And the only reason I chose Death Guard Green is because, 1, it was the only colour I had that was lighter than blue. 2, it was the only colour I had that was lighter than blue. You know, so in those sets, then that's what I had. I just chose the lighter colour. Yeah? So, it could have been pink, it could have been yellow, it could have been anything. It literally could have been any colour as long as it was lighter. It could have been the gold. Yeah? It could have been silver. It could have been any colour. Alright? Take that away. Like, you guys go away and play with that idea. You choose anything lighter, choose anything darker. It will work. It'll work. Yeah? It'll work. Because you'll make it work. Because you've got what it takes. And all it takes is just to make a choice. Choose the lighter colour. And that's it. You're free outside of that. Now, let's get a little bit more technical. Thoughts that banded around my mind after I just chose it because it was lighter. Why does it work so well? I started to think. Or why do you guys perceive it as working so well? Well, think about green. What's green made of? First question for you. Get your comments below. What's green made of? In general, just general green. I don't need a technical and detailed analysis of Death Guard Green. So what's green made of? Zab says, but you get great colour harmony by using the same palette in different combos. Yes, you do. It is super freeing. Yeah, Nick Mini Painter says green is made of blue and yellow. So by using green, I'm already halfway there, really, aren't I? Yeah, exactly. You're all gonna. Frankie Paul says green is made of green. Good try. Good try. Yeah, so green is made of blue and yellow. So you're already halfway there. So it's like. That's why it works so well. You know. Now, there's other colours in Death Guard Green other than blue and yellow. Because it's not a pure green. It's a drab, some might say desaturated. And I would say a light green. So that tells me there's other colours in there. But also it tells me there's a white in there. And white is a pretty kind of neutral kind of colour. Yeah. So it's gonna work. Makes sense. You get a bit of insight into how I think about colour. Yeah, a pinch of orange or red. I think there might be a pinch of brown in there or something, which is, yeah, orange or red. Yeah, they're all brown based colours. White or ivory. Yeah, ivory be a yellow based colour. yellow and white make an ivory style thing. But do you see how breaking it down, essentially all you're doing is you're giving more reasons why it works so well. So the warmth of the orange and ivory or red, some people say red is a neutral colour. I kind of think it's warm and or neutral. Yellow would be the warm. It depends how you think about colour theory, but I don't get hung up on colour theory because it is just theory. Anyway, so the other reason it'll work with those warmer colours like the orange, red or ivory is because they're all warmer colours. Blue is a cooler colour, and in contrast wise, well, the warmth of those offsets or gives greater impact from the contrast they both give, if that makes sense. So yeah. So there's just a load of reasons, but my ultimate reason was it was just the lightest colour I had from them sets. Obviously, I've got like billions of paints. Counted them not so long ago. Something like 700 paints, individual pots. Crazy. So yeah, right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Not that you've actually asked me any yet. Any questions? Yeah, so challenge for you guys. Try some of my ideas. Yeah. In fact, use them colours and paint anything. Frankie Paws says, I sound like I must have been painting a while. What, this evening or in general? I've been painting for a little while, yeah. Almost 30 years I've been painting. Am I from Bury or thereabouts? No, I'm not. I'm from Manchester or thereabouts, exactly. Faux Hammer Time, I like that name, cool. Right, alright, here we go. Questions are flying in now. So, yeah, use the same paints I've used on anything and just see what you can come up with. Don't try and be smart. Try and just achieve the task, you know. So, let's scroll down a bit. Goblin Botherer. Almost Sab says, do a random 3-colour challenge from your paint pile as an exercise. Yeah, absolutely. But I'd really like you guys to start tagging me in some of the results you get. So if you follow one of those 4 guides that I've done on any model, you know, because these will work for anything. Yeah, on any model. But I'd like to see you do the same model with the same colours. I'd also like to see you do the same colours on different models. Yeah. So Goblin Botherer, he says, tag me in those models you paint, by the way, or share them with me somehow. I can't read the writing because my t-shirt's white. Let's whiz that down. Let's get my cup out of the way. Oh no, it's still all white. Let's cover up. Right, there we go. Do I use, and what do I think of using magnifiers, nerd goggles for painting? I don't use them, and I never have used them, so I don't really have an opinion on them. But if you need to use them, then you need to use them. Do I think they'd be useful if I wanted to go into hyper detail? I'm pretty sure they would be, but I don't know until I actually use it. So one day we might find out, eh? Okay, good evening everyone else. A load of you guys have just joined. Not me, sir, the peoples out there. Yeah, the peoples out there should definitely do exercises in limited palettes. Everybody should. Chetsuro, is that right? You'll have to just send me, say your name into a video post and post it on your Instagram page and tag me in it so I know how to say it. Okay, he says, what about different colours but same technique? you don't have that many paints, do it. Absolutely do it. Do it. Setsuo, brilliant. Cheers, dude. Yeah, no, Zab says as long as the tones are the same, any colours could work. Break that rule. Doesn't matter if the tones are not the same. You know, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Experiment, see how it turns out. You know. Goblin Botherer says, I only ask because when I zoom in on pictures of what I thought were really neat paint jobs, I discovered he paint like a blind child using a sausage. Right, so go and check out any recent heavy metal painting guide, especially since it changed to the new paints, and you'll see when they're blown up, they're not as neat as you might think, you know. And those guys are just fantastic. So. Oh, what I heard a cool phrase today. CIA. CIA means. It says be happy doing things crap, because the more you do things crap, every one of those things that you do crap is a step towards getting it better. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. You know, it's as simple as that. It don't matter. Ooh, Zab says, sorry, he meant values like dark, mid, light tones be damned. Yeah, but even any tones, yeah, any tones, they could all almost be the same. What's the term? Could all be the same level of brightness, you know. Just start to just choose different colours and see how it turns out. Some will work, some won't, but you'll then know why. You'll then know what not to choose. You'll find it really empowering. Green Space Marines. I shouldn't have worn this t-shirt. I'm zipping my hoodie up because I can't read all your comments. Of which there seem to be billions tonight. I quite appreciate it. You got that intro 40k mag that came with the free Primaris Marine. You're inspired to drive very unlimited palette. Keep it in my homebrew scheme. Yeah, do it, Green Space Marines. Do it. Absolutely. Again, tag me in some pics. I'll be interested to see how you get on. You know, especially if you're going to follow one of the guides I've done. Frankie Paws. I know you feel Goblin Botherer. I think it looks great, but when you zoom in, it looks a bit pants. Yeah, guys, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just keep enjoying it. Top tips for painters who want to develop, regardless of your level. 1. Enjoy the mistakes. Alright? Mistakes present you with 3 opportunities. Opportunity 1. The chance to learn how you could have prevented it. And the chance to then practice next time seeing that possible mistake come up and then avoiding it. Yeah? And that could come up an infinite amount of times, and it's an awesome opportunity every time. That's literally how I look at it. Yeah? 2, you can go with the mistake. In other words, you can turn it into battle damage, you could turn it into a weird blemish, you could blend it out into something. Yeah, so that's the way I like to, or you could turn it into like a flash of light. And the third one is eliminate it. So when you start to eliminate mistakes, then generally what happens is more mistakes start to happen, and you start to learn a bit more about how paint behaves. So what that then takes me on to the next thing is, so after have fun making mistakes, is the next thing is have fun starting to analyse cause and effect. So just practicing on its own is it's too innocent and it's too blind. Practice awareness and choice. So be aware of the result of what your choice is made, and then over time you'll start to stack up a bunch of these choices. Now this is what beginners call He's an experienced painter. Oh, experience gets you that. But nobody can quite define what experience is. Well, experience is awareness and choice. Yeah. The only reason I'm a better painter than most people, and I always try and not be arrogant with this stuff, because, you know, I do all this just to help people. You know, painting at a top end is really like 90% making good choices. So once you understand what those good choices are, and this is what I do when I teach my students, I teach them to start to be aware of what they are or they aren't doing that gives them the results they're getting. And once they're aware that, well, these things that they're doing, which are just choices, yeah, whether you're aware of it or not, yeah, well, they're getting them the shit results, and these things are getting them the good results. So I go, right, well, those things, we're putting a line there, and they're now leaving, and we're all going to keep them. So generally, when people come to me for lessons, they want me to teach them more. They want me to teach them more complex or more advanced or more. And really what I do is I actually go, you know too much. That much of it needs to go. And really my job is to just clear the cobwebs, clear the bullshit, clear the dogma. Yeah, like, oh, you must use primer, you must mould line. Well, you can use primer and you cannot use primer. You know, go for it. Whatever makes you happy. Okay. Little Mad Painting Shine. Sucking at something is the first step to being good at it. Hell yeah. Thomas Edison. He didn't fail 1,000 times to make the light bulb. What he did was 1,000 experiments and learned 1,000 lessons. There you go. It's perspective in it. Is it 3 colours and black and white? Mate, whatever you want. So, you know, to paint the Death Guard armour, I used black, I used Death Guard green, I used blue. To paint the Ultramarine armour, I used black, I used Death Guard green, I used blue. 2 completely different results, exactly the same paints and exactly the same techniques. Which will tell you why I get a little bit agitated when people ask me for what my non-metallic recipes are. Because you can have the recipe all you want, but there's something people are missing. If I can get 2 completely drastic results using just 3 paints, well, imagine if I'm using 5 or 6, and all you want is the recipe. Well, you know, the ballpark's so broad, so there's something you're missing, and that missing is what I've just been talking about, which is awareness and choice. Yeah, start being aware of the results, the choices you're making, and literally you kind of awareness will be of big things at first, and then you'll start to be aware of more micro things. Yeah, and that'll take time and experience. Setsuo, I bet you've had to strip paint from a model at least once. Yeah. What do you use to strip paint from a metal mini? Totally failed at painting a special mini. Some people say, because I don't know where you are in the world, by the way, Fairy Power Spray. The old brand is what I use. I don't know if you'll be able to get it, but a lot of people say simple green is the thing to use. So yeah, but something with limonene in it is the thing. Nocky Studio, good evening, good sir. I'm glad you've come to say hello. Frankie Paws, you know you're not going to be the people. Everyone thinks blah blah blah. Okay, moving on. Frankie Paws says you don't use primer or anything like that. Try it. I would recommend it. Yeah. The reason I didn't for this is because it's part of the experiment, it's part of the exercise. I only want to use what you got in the Conquest magazines, which is this brush, which is the only brush with a mould line, and it's a bendy plastic brush, and it's got an okay point on it, but it curls at the end like that. 6 paints, and that's all you got so far. I don't intend on getting the rest of the magazines because that means subscribing. I don't really want to do that, you know. But it was a bit of fun. I figured I could help you guys with. Alexander Barrow says acetone to strip models. Yes, acetone is good to strip metal models, but if they've got plastic bases on, say goodbye to the plastic. If they've got plastic shoulder pads on, say goodbye to the shoulder pads. So yeah, acetone is an extreme choice, but it will work on just pure metal models. You understand, Nick Mini Painter says, I understand non-metal metallic recipes. What you struggle with is volumes. Volumes is a broad term, and light placement. Two people using the same recipe, can get very different results. So volumes, you have to define what you mean by that, because there's many reasons that, and I could assume, but at the end of the day, if you put your light in the right place and the dark in the right place, then you're not going to go far wrong. As far as how do you choose, well, can you see that light streak on my nose there? Now I ask you where I put the light paint. Well, it must be there. Well, what if you don't like there? Well, alright, I'll change the way the light shines till I find somewhere where I do like it, like that. Oh, did you hear that car screeching up the road there? Some fella doing donuts outside my house. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. The only brush with a mould line. Frankie Paws. I use Citadel brush. This is a Citadel brush for this exercise, but I use all sorts of brushes. I like the Element Games ones a lot, I must admit. Wow, there is so many. Right, okay, I'm catching up on you actually. James Klaus Thompson, hello. Did some non-metal metallics with Tommy and was crazy how much I could do when I was aware of what you would do. Alright, dude. When did you come for a lesson at my house or the studio or on a course? Yeah, let me know. I'd be interested to know what you thought. Goblin Borrower, Dettol. Dettol for stripping paint is something a lot of people use. If you leave it too much, two things will happen, and you won't like either of them. One, your models will always stink of Dettol from now on. Alright, I know they're metal, but they'll probably always stink of metal. If it's plastic, it definitely will stink of metal, and if you leave it in too long, that Dettol will not only stink, but it'll also prevent other layers of paint going on, because it kind of seeps into the plastic a little bit too much. So careful with Dettol. It stinks, man. You don't want that. We don't want that. Can you see more of my amazing Space Wolves? They're all in the cabinet in Games Workshop Manchester at the moment, so unfortunately not. Unless you want to go to Games Workshop Manchester. In fact, send them some messages on their Facebook page, asking them to post pictures. There you go. And they'd love that, to be honest. They'd like the attention. How much light, how much dark is what you mean by volumes? So Nicky Mini Painter is talking about non-metal metallics. He says how much light and how much dark is what he meant by volumes. Well, how much light and how much dark depends on the reference material you're hopefully using, or in fact it comes out of that reference material. So I keep all my reference material in my head. I just know. Alright, and I know because I've looked at a billion different things and I memorise what the proportions are. So proportions is a better word, because again, we go back to the Death Guard colour scheme versus the Ultramarine colour scheme. Well, the only difference is proportion. So if you're getting too dark a gold, what proportion of which part of the three colours is out? Change that colour. Is it too dark because your mid-tone is out, or is it too dark because you've got too much of the lower cases, the lower shades? See what I mean? If you identify that your mid-tones are the thing that are lacking, well, add more mid-tones. See, it's all very, 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 very simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. Tightrope walking is simple. But it ain't easy. It's one foot in front of the other, and certain death on either side. Oh, right. Do you know what? I was talking about you crash planes for a living. I was literally talking about you last week, believe it or not. Believe it or not. I'm glad, James. I'm glad it changed how you paint. That's what I want. That's why I do these videos. You know, that's why I do these weird guides. That's why I spam every forum everywhere. Which, weirdly, people don't like. But that's, you know, whatever. I don't make any money out of this yet. You know, all I want to do is help people, and I want them to see painting for what it is. It's simple, it's direct, it's straightforward. That's what I want. You know, so many people cop block it, or, like, for example, you know, I show people how to do these things, and most people are asked that I've not primed it, and, you know, that's pennies in a pot of gold. You know, oh, look at that guy there, he's trying to save the world. Yeah, but he's wearing Adidas trainers, and I don't like that, so, you know, it's really stupid, but whatever. I have to treat that with love, because they might not have the full picture. So I've got to make sure people get the full picture, don't I? Which really comes back to the way I communicate. So there you go. Look at me having little home therapy sessions with you lot. Right, Shawnee D, you'd recommend the trip to Manchester as Paul's Orcs are amazing too? Yes, they are. Goblin Botherer says it does stink, but it reminds me of your childhood. I'm sure you're talking about Dettol there, right? Frankie Paws says, do I work for Games Workshop or just a hobby? It's just a hobby for me, but I do love to teach, and I do private lessons. Self-plug right there. Yeah, I used to be a little bit more prolific in all that, and I used to work for Games Workshop, but and I'd still work for them again, without a doubt. It's fantastic. Green Space Marine says, yeah, my video on just make a straight line changed my life. Did I do a video on that? Engel of the North, good evening, good sir. How are you, by the way, Mr. Engel? Are you alright? You feeling good? Are you coming back into Manchester soon? Would you like to do lunchtime tomorrow, by the way? Wow, that was a... That was a lot of talking I just did there. You guys just kept me right on my toes. Right, got a question for you. I've not done a poxwalker yet in the guide, and I don't think I'm going to. Not quite soon. I've also not done any of the skin on any of the Marines, mainly because I've not done a skin guy, a helmetless head. But I've got a question. So I've got 6 paints. Alright. I've got 6 paints. Those 6 paints are Death Guard Green, McCrag Blue, and Black. Alright. This is just from them sets. Death Guard Green, McCrag Blue, Black. Bugman's Glow, Retributor Gold, and Lead Belcher. Okay, now, if I've done both Ultramarine armour and Death Guard Green armour using these paints, which of these colours would you recommend I drop for any one of these colours to paint skin? And would I use the same techniques that I used for everything else in all the other guides? Yeah, that's my question for you. Now, I'd love it if you actually went away and experimented, posted some pictures for me to have a look at. Yeah, show me your results. So, if we're going to think about it, oh, Green Space Marine says drop the black. Alexandra, I've got no red, mate. There's no red. There's no red. Yeah, there's Bugman's Glow, Lead Belcher, Gold. Which of these, green, blue, or black, do I swap out for which one of these? Nocky Studio says, I'd drop the Geek for red. I'm sure you mean green. Drop the black, Death Guard, go up, blue to go down. From what, though? So you're dropping the black, but what you're dropping it for? Because then you've only got 2 colours. Now remember, I'm talking about painting the skin for this Poxwalker. So let's assume it's roughly human skin colour. What's below the silver? gold on this side, Bugman's Glow on the bottom, my bottom right. This is my right hand, by the way. Frankie Paul says they do a couple of tests first. Noki Studio says one of these then. Interesting. Goblin Botherer says flesh as the mid-tone, adding the blue as the shade, adding the green as the highlight. I kind of like that. Boosh. Good evening, guys. Yeah, Bugman's, James. Yeah. So, I would drop the blue. However, that was only if I was going to put the limit on myself to actually drop the blue. Instead, I'd probably include the Bugman's in with those other three colours. But yeah, you're right. If you chose Bugman's to go in, but again, just to empower you a little bit more, and as I said, a bit more context to all this. I get asked, oh, how do you paint faces? Oh, how do you paint cloth? How do you paint hair? How do you paint armour? How do you paint cups of tea? How do you paint bits of things stuck on your wall? How do you paint mobile phone videos? It's all the same. It's all the same. You know, look, come back to this. Yeah? Is this the colours for Space Marine armour, for Ultramarine armour, or is it the colours for Death Guard armour? Or is it the colours for Poxwalker skin? Is it the colours for Orc skin? Could you paint Orc skin using the Death Guard green recipe and method that I showed you in those guides? You know? Yes, you can dry brush hair and fur, but you can also paint it the same way you paint Space Marine armour. So what does that tell you about these questions about, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do the other? Yeah. Now, bear this in mind. How do you paint cups of tea? With inquisitorial symbols. So, oh, you might even say, same way I paint my water jar when I accidentally wash my brush in it. So, think like this. If I take all the colours I use to paint non-met gold, and I paint something that's hair shaped, not that I've got any, right? Hair shaped. Will you see non-metal gold hair, or will you just see blonde hair? Depending on the portions of dark or light browns, would you see dark hair or brown hair? Could you use the same techniques to paint hair as you would non-mets? The world won't end if you do, for starters. Bear that bit in mind. You know, your house won't fall down, and you probably won't break up with your girlfriend over such a thing. See what I mean? It's all neither here nor there. Now, the thing is, you could get the most unhair-like colour in the world. I don't know what that is. And if you've got a model with hair and you paint that model's hair with that most unhair-like colour in the world, you point to that guy's head, point at the hair on that guy's head, or woman's head, or whatever, and you say to somebody, what's that? They will probably say it's hair. Not because of the colours you've used, because of the shape it is. Yeah, you could paint a sword marshmallow pink. People will see it as a sword. Yeah. So this is where us as painters, we take a lot of credit for painting, and the sculptors get left aside, and the sculptors are actually the people who do the real magic. Yeah. So we worry too much about certain things. Whoops, nearly knocked you all over. Yeah, we worry too much about certain things. And hopefully this this exercise that I've done with these Conquest magazine models will highlight that for you. No pun intended. So yeah, hopefully it'll highlight for you that it's all the same. Painting skin is the same as painting cloth, is the same as painting walls, is the same. It's all the same stuff. Yeah. So when you realise that, then painting anything becomes quite a direct pleasure. If I think, just bring it on. It's like people here's another example actually. People go, I don't like painting because it's dead boring. I've done loads of them. So essentially what they do is, because this is painting, all right. You've got a colour on your brush. No matter what colour it is, this is painting, all right. So let's say we change the colour, and we change the brush, and now we're still painting. What's changed other than the colour of the model? You've not got bored of doing this, so why get bored of doing anything else? All it is, you've just become fixated on an idea in your head, and you think that idea is just some kind of fact. And it isn't. Well, it is because you empower it and make it fact, but that's getting in a whole world of other things. Which actually takes me on to a whole world of other things. I've been thinking for a number of years now on sharing how painting helped me understand and get over physical and mental illness. Okay? And I have been a little bit apprehensive about doing that. And seeing as there's loads of you here, I'm going to put it to you. To me, painting is life. And I don't mean that, it's my hobby and my passion, I love it so much I've made it my life. What I mean is there's definite parallels between painting well and living life well. And when you understand how you can apply these things to your own life, you start making better choices in life, as well as better choices in painting. And the more aware of these choices you become, the better painter you are. Well, that can apply to life as well, and for those of you that know why I no longer have my painting studio and why I'm not as prolific as I used to be, is that I was very ill a few years ago, and painting helped me get through it. So yeah, if you want me to share more things like that, then I'm more than willing to, because again, I'm here just to help. I'm here just to help you guys get better at your hobby, and if I can help you get better at your health and get better, whether it be mental or physical, surely that's going to improve your hobby as well, So, yeah, let me know, because like I say, it's a bit of a divergence from the hobby, and some people might not appreciate it. But if there's people out there that can help, I'll do them videos. And I'd like, to be honest, I want to do them videos. And just feel a bit self-conscious about, what people might think, which is actually the poorest reason. So yeah, I'm going to have to do them, aren't I? Oh man, I've just sold myself into it. I hope the Inquisition isn't watching. Dave paints. Dave, are you painting? That's a good question. Okay. Let's go back. Frankie Paul. Oh, in fact, no, we've got more questions earlier than that. Okay, Frankie Paul says, do you painting a couple of things at a time or a number of things at a time? I chop and change depending on my mood and depending on my project. For example, when I painted my 15 blood claws, I did all the armour, then I did all the base coats, then I did all the shading, but only on a basic level. Then I did all the battle damage, but I saved all the heads to last. Then I did all the hair, then I did all the faces. But if I was painting one model, like with my Ragnar Blackmane model, I did only the boot, then I did only the shin pad, then I did only the knee. Yeah. But then on another model, like for example my Skaven Plague Monk, I did all of him all at the same time. So I chop and change between techniques and styles because I've got a pretty broad vocabulary of how I paint. I don't just have my style, although I do have a style that's I do have a default style, but I can choose not to do it if I want. So I can chop and change it. I don't have one way of doing things. I like to learn all ways of doing things, and then I can just be as flexible and flowy as either a project needs or as just as I feel. Frankie Paul says you can see it being therapeutic at times. Now, I don't necessarily mean painting as therapy when I say share these ideas. For example, if I need to get a job done. Yeah, let's say the job is painting a line. Well, if I need to paint a neat line, I need my job to be done well, for example, or let's say I need to meet and greet a person. Let's say I paint a line. I can have paint a line, and if I went to meet and greet a person, that entire meeting's not entirely going to go well, and neither's painting that line like that. See what I mean? So I'll go, all right, okay, if I need this line to go well, then I need to A, relax, B, understand what it is I have to do, and then C, execute. Yeah, so something along those lines. So, all right, a meet and greet is, right, I need to meet this guy, I need to greet him. So what I need to do is, good handshake, boom, hiya, how are you? Thank you. Regardless of how I feel, that's what I have to do. So that's what I focus on. Does that make sense? So it's about parallels. Or analogies, you might even say. Speaking from the soul, says Mordy and I. Don't be daft, get them done. Yeah, it's nice to see someone down. Oh, cheers, Frankie Paws. I'm glad you like it. Cheers for the thumbs up, Alexander. Frankie Paws says it gets a bit tedious when you've got like 100 temple guard. What you need, sir, is a big brush. Yeah. Next, what you need is the right mentality. You need the mentality of, right, you're getting paint on you, there's a lot of you, and I'm going to win. Excuse me. That's what you need to do. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that. Get your head on you and just go like, I'm gonna smash paint on this model. Now, if you want a good source of how to use a big brush to smash some paint on a model, if you go to my YouTube channel, Frankie Paws, the link is in me bio, me homepage on Instagram, whatever it is. Yeah, there's a link to my Instagram. I have a playlist on there called Speed Demon Challenges, and if anybody wants to come down and be on the Speed Demon Challenge, please let me know, because I'd love to have you on. In that Speed Demon Challenge is how to paint a marine in 10 minutes. Well, my record is 10 minutes. No one's beat it yet. The closest is 15 minutes. Yeah. So with that knowledge, yeah, you can apply those same ideas, same techniques as a parallel, bomb them straight onto a temple guard. Yeah. And you'll smash through that unit in no time. Yeah. Bet you could do it in a day if you got the right getting it done attitude. Yeah. You choose that attitude, by the way. Practice choosing it. Yeah. Because painting is a mental skill. Right? Painting is a mental skill. If painting is a mental skill, then getting something done can be a mental skill. Yeah. Mental skill. You're practicing a new way of thinking. Yeah. Again, you start to see why I see painting and doing things in the outside world as a parallel. It's the same thing. It helped me get out of hospital. Just so you know, by the way, I don't take any of the drugs anyone recommends to me, and I am thriving. Yeah, I am drug free. I'm pretty much meat free. Do eat meat, blah blah blah. But I've put on 2 stone, all in muscle, almost through sheer willpower. Don't ask me how it works, but I've done some pretty amazing things. I have to pat myself on the back, actually. That's me publicly doing that for the first time. I was a dead man a couple of years ago. So fix this, the rest will follow suit. The rest will follow suit. Okay, what else has popped up? Engel says, sounds like focusing on the result rather than the task. You focus on the end result to fuel getting the task done. Right. Tommy, do I use an airbrush? Yes, I do use an airbrush, although rarely. I pick and choose when and where I use an airbrush. I much prefer using a paintbrush, though I can use an airbrush. If you want to see some of my airbrush skills, flick down through my page, you'll see some Titans that I've done. There's a Reaver Titan in particular which shows off some of my airbrushing skills and weathering skills a bit more. And then if you go real deep into my Instagram feed, there's some kind of like Dark Eldar flyer thing that's got some airbrushing on it. Frankie Paws, don't try and get motivation. It's the Yoda thing. There is no try. You either do it or you don't. So start practicing motivation now. Alright, simple as that. Frankie Paws says thumbs up. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Alexander Barrow says, sounds like fun, that Space Marine Charge. Mate, it really is. I'd love to get so many people down. Like, anyone's welcome. If you want to come down to where I do my lessons, basically what happens is you get half an hour with the Stig. It's not the Stig, it's me really. I show you how to paint a Marine as fast as possible. Alright, then what you do is, we'll put the camera on, we have a chat, you get a Marine painted as fast as possible. You get to join the leaderboard. So far, 5 people have done the test. The slowest is 20 something minutes. I think it's 25 minutes. The fastest is 15 minutes. I want to see somebody break the 15-minute mark. My fastest, I don't include my own time in this, is 10 minutes. So yeah, and all those videos are on YouTube of me doing that, so you get to see how you do it. So if you want to do your homework, do a load of practice, whatever it is you need to do, yeah, come down and bring the rain. Honestly, I'm going to see if I can get a trophy for the end of the year for the fastest. Maybe one for the best painted. But what you'll notice is, regardless of how fast everyone's painted them, they all look equally excellent. They could all fit in the same army. So it's testament to simple, direct techniques done with awareness and deliberacy will get you where you need to go, regardless of how amateur somebody might say they are, because they're not amateur, you know. Why do I prefer brushwork to airbrush? So why you need to ask the question why someone would choose an airbrush practically. Okay, so some people would choose an airbrush to get blends. Now, I don't see that as a skill. I like to pursue skills, yeah, and to get a good blend with a brush is much harder to do with an airbrush, so I prefer to do that way. Now, the next one is to get a nice smooth coat of paint. Now, on something this size, getting a nice smooth coat of paint with a paintbrush is pretty straightforward. But on, let's say I was going to paint this entire wall, well, in fact, let's not say the wall. Let's say I don't have a model at hand. Let's say a rhino, right? Now, if I was to paint that with a brush, that's going to take me a lot of time. So I'd much prefer to use a rattle can with something like that. And if I had to, an airbrush, you know. So as Mordian Ironguard says, for speed. And the last reason somebody would use an airbrush is they like doing it, and it's as simple as that. If you like doing it, then you like doing it. You know, you can't ever take that away from somebody. You know, but personally, yeah, I mean, even speed actually. Like, how many times you have to stop to clean and unclog an airbrush? It drives me crazy. You spend 90% of the time cleaning it, you know. Oh, Frankie Pauls, you do things perfect, do you? Okay. Like that. Oops. Frankie Pauls takes you 4 hours to paint one lizard man. Does it take you 4 hours to paint one lizard man because you're doing it the most economic way to get the results you want, or because you're doing it the most uneconomic way and you're still not happy with the results, or because you're doing it the most uneconomic way and you are happy with the results. So then it will leave me with the question is, are you doing it the most economic way and happy with the results? And I'd start looking at how you could get to that, because I bet you could chop that time right down. So yeah. Probs the second, he says. Yeah, that's the answer with most people, because they're not aware that good painting can be quick and easy. A lot of painting guides show you the hard way of doing things, you know, and you have to start asking questions while you're painting, and you go, right, let's look at the end result. What's the quickest way to get there? And are there any stages in my method or recipe that just don't need to be there? Yeah. There's a forum called 2P's Podcast, and they've got a Facebook page group. Go and ask Ben on there how he painted the robes on his on his Stormcast. And he's not watching tonight. I'd ask him to describe it again, but that is a lengthy process for something that should just be 3 stages. Honestly, it's about 12 stages. It's crackers, you know. So yeah, I'd start to look at those things. You know, just ask yourself what really doesn't need to be there. So let's give you a real world example. I'm going to hazard a guess. In fact, I'm not going to hazard a guess. I'm just going to say, right, here's what somebody might get taught. You base coat the entire model. You wash the entire model. You then re-base coat the entire model, leaving just the shadows. That's crazy. Yeah? Then you highlight, and then it's done. Yeah, that's almost like a stereotypical Games Workshop way of teaching you things. But oh my gosh, that's a lot. Yeah, Frankie says, yeah, that's the way. So how much work have you created for yourself? Yeah, you have to, by putting that wash all over the model and then having to re-base coat it again, leaving just these tiny gaps. So that is a double whammy of time wasting there. It's a double whammy of time wasting. One, because you've got to re-base coat the entire model. The second reason is you have to be careful to leave them gaps. Well, why not just do the careful part by just putting the shadow in just the gaps? Just put the shadow in where you would have left it. Yeah, then you don't have to re-base coat and you can go straight to the highlight stage. Yeah. Frankie Paws, I got it down to a T. Been doing this a while, man. I've seen it all. Honestly, I've seen it all, and I've painted it all, and I've taught a lot of people. You know, I had a studio of 15 people who were all fantastic, and I had to impart a lot of knowledge onto a lot of them. You know, I had to, and running a commission painting studio, you need to understand where you're wasting time, because time is money. You know, when you're self-employed, you need to be on the ball. So yeah, you need, and what you'll find is the more you start to economise your paint jobs, stop thinking in terms of this is display standard painting and this is army standard painting, because they don't exist. They're just ideas. You start thinking about economy and you will start to get good results at a fast pace. Yeah, start thinking economy. So yeah, I hope that's a little juicy ball of wisdom for you there. And probably what you'll find is if you cut that stage out. Oh, the thing has just popped up at the top. It says it's 30 seconds remaining. Was there good money running a commission studio? No. Right. In my Frankie Paws says his favourite is Devil and Mud. Always on the breadline. Breadline, mate. Although it didn't have to be. But there you go. So thank you guys for coming. Check out my YouTube channel. See me for lessons. Have a great night. Over and out.